Hey, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tammy. I am your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. You are enough. I am enough. Take a moment and just say that. Just say, I am enough. It's not something that we say to ourselves often. We're told that we're enough. We tell other people that they're enough. We encourage, we inspire, we truly believe that others are enough just as they are. But then when it comes to ourselves, we always wish we were more. We always hope for things to be a little different, or we see the way someone else does it. And we're like, well, when my kids are sleeping through the night, I will have more time, or I'll be able to sleep through the night. When my kid can start driving, then I'm going to have more time. When this happens, then I will have enough, be enough, do enough. And I want to encourage you today, right now, to just embrace, and let me just turn on this. Just embrace that you are fully enough right where you are. What if things already are? That's it. What if they already are? So all of these things that you want, these results that you're looking for, you want to stop numbing out. You want to have a better relationship with your spouse or your kids or your friends. You want to have a hobby. You want to enjoy life. You want to stop feeling like you were just running around managing things and not experiencing. Most of what's going on is actually all going on in your head. It's in your thoughts. And the purpose of that is if we are feeling overwhelmed and we're feeling rushed and and let me tell you, I realized one of the ways why we're always, and I do say always here, we're always pulled to what's coming next and like push it, and the time is flying. And marketers do a really darn good job at that. I mean, it is September, but back in August, there's stores, Hobby Lobby, Costco, even Target and Walmart and Sam's Club and Michael's and Kirkland's, a Pottery Barn, all of these marketers, all these stores are already pushing Christmas. We haven't had, at this point, like school's just starting. We haven't had fall break. We're not even in fall yet. Like it is not fall for another like 2 weeks or something, like 2 weeks, maybe a week. By the time you listen to this, know that fall is a couple weeks away. We're always pulled and rushed, and like our focus goes to the future. When this happens, I will be able to do this. I will be able to slow down this Christmas. Girlfriend, what Christmas have you had that you've been able to slow down? And if you can name something, you need to go and journal about how it was for you, what you did differently, what you set down. Like, go and share this, like write it down and share this experience with us, because Christmas is time that moms get to make everything magical, right? And so we spend all this time planning ahead. When we plan ahead and when we wish our time away, we are losing the presence of this present moment. And that's one of the reasons why we feel so overwhelmed, because here we are, we're trying to live in two worlds. We're trying to live right now, and we're trying to prepare and experience the future. So by saying you are enough right now, whatever you want to do, what if you already have the skills, the talent, you've already got the desire, otherwise you wouldn't be thinking about it. And it can be something as little as you want to spend more time reading. What if you just added that to your calendar right now? What if you looked at your calendar and saw something that you can take off? Do you really need all the things on there? And if you do, how can you arrange it to be a little bit smoother? How can you remind yourself? And this goes back to our values, those core values that we hold, that we desperately need to understand, and our priorities, and knowing our strengths and our weaknesses, because knowing those will anchor us, and we'll be able to say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things. And you'll be able to embrace the fact that you are actually enough right where you are. I used to wear busy as a badge of honor, I was like, oh, how are you? Busy? I'm running around. And I mean, truthfully, I was busy. Single mom, running 2 active kids. I live in the country. It takes me 30 minutes to get anywhere. 25 minutes to get to Walmart if I hit every light. It takes me sports 35 to 55 minutes to get to sports. My daughter used to go to softball almost an hour away. Luckily, we stopped that. We had a conversation about loss versus gain. And we talked about, was it worth it? What it was costing our family, what our values are. And even though she loved softball, we made it a shift because she didn't, if she did love it with all her heart and was willing to put in all of the effort, and that's the one thing she wanted to do, I would have gone all in. But when I asked her how she wanted to spend her weekends, instead of getting up early, she's like, well, I'd really like to be able to have a game night, or I would like to be able to go and do something together. I'd like to sleep in every once in a while. Don't feel bad for her there. She's a homeschool kid. She sleeps in, but she would like to sleep. So we talked about the values, and we talked about, okay, where does it line up? So my life was, and still is, busy, but I don't classify my life as busy anymore. When people say, oh, you're always on the go, or you're busy, I'm like, well, I'm active and I have things going on, but we have enough time to do everything that's important to us. And that is the phrase that I want you to start implementing in your thoughts. I have the time to do everything that's important in our lives. Because when you ask yourself and you balance of, is this important in my life, our life, your family's life? Is this something that is important, or is this something you're just doing? That right there will help you tip the scale. It's gonna fall there. Sorry, mic issues. It's gonna help you tip the scale to decide, am I doing this because I think I need to do it, or I should do it, I ought to do it, or is this something that I want to do? When you're trying to decide, and when you're trying to embrace the fact that you're enough right where you are, and that you can actually have the life you want right now, you don't have to, in the intro, I talk about chucking it all and moving to Bali or Bora Bora, whatever I said. Many times my girlfriends and I are like, well, let's just go. Let's just hop on a plane and go. And we joke about it, but we know we wouldn't trade anything. We would not trade our lives for anything. But we want to experience our life. When you go to places like Bora Bora, you completely experience it because you worked towards it, because you wanted that. How many of you prayed to be right where you are right now? Having kids who eat too much and leave stuff out, and laundry to do, and errands to run, and a house that is active and happy and like being together. How many of you prayed for that? I know I did. I know that our family does not look exactly how I prayed, but it's the way God intended it to be. It's the way that God allowed it to be, and the way that we can embrace it and we can use it. I am enough. You are enough. Things are already what they should be. If you make that conscious decision of, well, I want a meal plan. I was going to say plan and prep at the same time, and it's plep. That doesn't sound right. Meal. Maybe that's our new word. Let's plep some menus. Plan and prep. If you want to do that, you actually need to plan it. You need to put it in your calendar. You need to make it a priority. If you don't make it a priority and you don't schedule it, then it's just a wish. And then, of course, you're going to feel guilty because it's something you want and you know will benefit you, but you don't actually put it as a priority and like actively do it. But when you tell yourself right now, I am got the life that I want. Who am I in this life? Well, I am someone who will plan a Walmart pickup. Actually, sometimes they even deliver. I am someone who spends Sunday afternoon chopping vegetables and prepping, so that way I can make healthy meals throughout the week and in less time. If you want to work out this morning, my son had tennis practice, and hello, high school tennis. Now we are doing tennis first thing in the morning before class, before school, before all the things, before work. And so we got up early, and I was like, okay, I have this time. How can I use it to be the healthy Tammy that I want to be? And I decided to go on a walk. I was in a golf course. Their practice is at like a golf club, and there's like a country club kind of thing. And there's a golf path there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go walk. And I walked 2 miles, and it felt amazing. But what it also did is it set my day up for success, because I'm like, okay, I'm already enough. I already did what I wanted to do. I already made that conscious choice. I already planned, and I prioritized that, because I was like, okay, what can I do in my car? It's still kind of dark, so I can't record. I can't read. It was, it's a little too dark to read until the very end of practice. But I could walk and get that checked off my list, and it felt great. I decided that instead of listening to a podcast, I listened to a little meditation about focus and breathing. And again, it just reminded me that it's all decided in your brain. It's all decided when you decide who you are. If you decide that you are someone who lets yourself down, who doesn't plan and prioritize yourself and your needs. And again, it is not selfish to prioritize your needs. I guarantee that if you take care of your needs, it is with the intention and the results of helping other people better, helping your people, and growing your people. So it's not selfish for you to make yourself a priority and work your needs into the needs of others. But if you know from the very moment, I'm enough, this life is what I want. Now let me add a few things and take away a bunch of things that don't actually fit in the picture of what I prayed for or what really serves me right now. But you can make small shifts and make big transformation and big changes. And you can change really the inside of feeling like you're enough because you're making yourself, making your values, making your people a priority. And so we want to learn these new things and we want to be stronger, healthier, have more time. What if you ask yourself, okay, if I did have the time right now, would I actually do it? I saw many memes in over COVID that talked about if I had, we joke how I need a week at home with nothing to do, and I can clean out my closets. Well, we were home for over a year, and how many people got their closets cleaned out? What we want and what we really want and what we're going to do. Start to categorize that. How bad is this something that I really want, or do I feel like I should want it? So I add it to my list. I use it to add some guilt and shame to myself that I really don't need, but I'm not going to do it in the first place. If I had the time, would I really get it done? If you had the 30 minutes to meal prep, to eat healthy, to journal, to spend with your kids, to just talk with your son or daughter, would you? And if you really would, then put that sucker on your calendar and make it a priority that day. Look to see how you can make it. You can find 30 minutes to do anything. We waste way more than that doing things that are unimportant, scrolling, or just numbing out. When you start believing that you are enough and that things already are the way you want them to be, your brain starts to change and shift and see like, oh, well, we're already someone who does that. So let me just go ahead and reorganize my thoughts, get it on my calendar, and let's do this. When you focus on what you're not, I'm never on time. I'm never organized. I never look put together. I'm always frazzled, or I'm always on the go. If you focus on these negative things, your brain is going to say, I got you, girl. That's how we're going to see ourselves. It means that we don't have to do any of these things that we feel is actually going to benefit us and our families. If you're not healthy, it affects your family. When's the last time you got a cold and you were down for 24 hours? You went into the living room for the first time in 24 hours, living room and kitchen and dining room, and you realized that a bunch of Neanderthals lived at your house for about a week in that 24 hours that you were gone. You are the center of your house. And if you start to believe that you're enough and that your life is exactly how you want it to be, and you get to just believe that. And I know you're saying, Tammy, my life is not how I want it to be. Well, then what's one thing you can do? What's one thought you can have? What part of your life is actually really amazing? Find something that is in your life that is amazing. And it might just be your ability to think positive or to see where you've come from. Like there is something positive that you can find in everything. But if you believe that you're already enough, your actions, your priorities, your values, your schedule starts to fall in line as well. If you stop waiting for one day and when I get it all together, or when the kids are out of the house or whatever, you stop waiting for that and really embrace today, you are living in the moment. What parts of your life are you really grateful for? What parts of your life are what you wanted? I wanted a crazy house. I knew I knew that I was going to have active kids, and I knew I was going to be on the go. I love traveling. I love new experiences. I love change. I do. I have to remind myself of that sometimes when I'm in the middle of it. But overall, I love going through the seasons of the winters and the falls and the springs and the summers and how your life changes throughout it. But if I don't remind myself to stay present in this moment and that I'm already enough and my life already is what I want it to be. And if you ask yourself, if you tell yourself that and you're like, well, it's not what I want it to be because of this, this, and this. Well, now you know. Now these things, ask yourself, why do you do them? And are they still necessary? How are they serving you? Sometimes they are. Sometimes you have to do them. Maybe you have a second job because you're trying to make ends meet for a certain thing. You know what? The gratefulness you can show there is that you are making things happen. You are going towards your goals. It's temporary. You can change your future today. Remind yourself it's a choice. You can love it or you can hate it. You can fight it. I talk to my kids all the time about this. I'm like, well, you're going to do it anyway, so you might as well enjoy it. And they're like, yeah, there's no point in it. Wow. But still, when you tell yourself that you're enough right where you are, and even God says you're enough. He says that he made us enough because he covers everything. So Ephesians 2:10 says, for we are his workmanship created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared ahead of time for us to do. He prepared ahead so we don't have to. Stay in the moment. You may miss out on decorating something. You may miss out on bringing the perfect craft to your kids' class because you were in the moment and you didn't plan ahead properly. But what are you giving up today by always worrying about tomorrow? And what you worried about tomorrow, when you finally get it, do you sit and do you enjoy that? Or are you already on to the next thing? When you embrace that you're enough right where you are. When you embrace that today is the most important day. That today you have enough time to do everything that's important to you. I remind myself that multiple times. I have enough time to do everything that's important to me. The key word there is important to me. That's the phrase. And I'm like, okay, is this important to me? Well, it's important to my daughter, so it's important to me. No, this isn't important to me. This is something that my kids want, but they don't need. Or will it benefit them? It does not align with our values. It's out. It's not important. And I don't have enough time for that. I don't want to make the time for that. It baffles me how many people use excuses of time and money for things. A lot of times, time especially, we're all given the same amount of time. You get to choose. And if you don't actively choose, it will choose for you and then it will go. Time is one thing we cannot get back. We spend so much time trying to piecemeal things together when it would have been faster to just do it right the first time. Do it, go for it, go all in at the beginning. That's a whole nother podcast. I won't go on that tangent. I can go on that. And that's part of what I teach in coaching. What we go through is the mindset of when we try to piecemeal and try to figure things out on our own, a lot of times what do we really save? We spend more money, more energy, more time. A lot of people who want coaching but wait because they're like, well, I can do it. I can do it on my own. If you could do it on your own, you would have done it already. You need accountability. You need someone who can help you, guide you. And I say this boldly because I also needed someone who could point out my own blind spots. And I have a coach who does that brilliantly. And sometimes I'm like, ooh, I feel targeted. that I was targeted because it was me. I am holding myself back. When you stop holding yourself back by believing and by knowing deep in your heart that you're enough, things in your life have a different view. You stop focusing so much on what's to come and you realize you'll get there. But this moment here, I don't want to miss the small moments to try to create some amazing moment in the future that may or may not even happen. And again, there are some things that I miss out on because I'm focused on now. There's some things that I'm not as prepared for. It is crazy. I like being prepared. I like being 15 minutes early. In the military, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. But I've given some of those stories up because I'm like, well, we were doing something as a family, or I let the kids, I let them eat a full breakfast, cereal and everything before we left versus grab a Pop-Tart. Look at the day as itself the most important day of your life. Every morning, wake up. Today is going to be an important day. Today's going to be a good day. I am going to love today. And then just make your actions reflect that. When you make that stand, when you make that intention at the beginning, when you say, today I'm going to feel like enough because I already am. Your brain's like, oh, well, let's look at all the ways that we're making things happen, the way that we organize things, the way we're taking care of our people. Our brains want us to be right. Our brains constantly are proving us right. So pick something good about yourself that your brain can prove. We need to stop trying to do things on our own. God says, go with a brother, go with a sister, have an accountability partner. He doesn't really say accountability partner, but he talks about the support, being in community with people. You really need to be in Shine. If this resonates with you, if you want to believe that you are enough right now, if you want to know how your day can be structured based on your values, your priorities, your needs, and get rid of all the I should, I ought, I need, stop shoulding on yourself. Because when you stop those limiting beliefs, when you stop feeling like you're not enough, which the world wants you to feel not enough, because then you keep spending money, because you keep doing different things, because you keep striving, and so again, just like the marketers are really good at what they do. But what if you already are enough? You don't need the latest fashion. You don't need the magazine-worthy house. You don't need kids that are completely appropriate in public to be enough. You are enough just as you are. And you want to learn how to step into that. You need to get into Shine. This month in September, we are talking about progress over perfection. And we have, I believe, September 27th is our live call, our workshop, our Let's Dive In. You can go when you sign on with Shine, you are already into a portal. You get access to a portal which has the video for this month and your journal questions for the month, little helps to help you get into the frame of mind. And then you take that and you bring it to our live session and we dive in deeper and we start seeing, how does it work for you? How can we remove guilt, remove these old stories and be enough right now? How is perfectionism and striving for that stopping us? So join Shine. It's not too late. You can join anytime. If you sign up for the emails, there is a code for a discount for your first month. You can try it for a month and then you can cancel if you don't. Sorry about that. Gotta love when Amazon or some mail, probably Amazon, comes to the door. But hey, it's life, right? Anyway, back to where we were. Shine. If you have any questions about it, get on Facebook and ask. Go DM me, or on Instagram, DM me and let's chat about it. Try it for a month and see. My purpose in this is that the more you accept that you're enough and you step into who you are, not who you think you should be, not want other strengths that someone else has, but let's look at who you are, who God created you to be, and you start being that light on the hill. And when you start shining and you start serving in a way that aligns with, well, how you are supposed to be obedient, with the gifts that God's given you to give to the world. And I do it, and our friends do it, and we have a group of women who do that. It shines brighter. Our impact goes deeper and further. And we also, we love and we get excited about the life we live. So if you want that discount, go and sign up for my mailing list. I'm not a daily mailer, I promise you. 2 or 3 times a week max. I try to make them actually helpful and give you a little tips or a journal question or something to inspire you, instead of just, I don't know. I get so many junk emails a day that I just don't like them, but that's just me. Anyway, back to the thing at hand. I can't wait to talk to you next week. I cannot wait to see you on Facebook and on Instagram, and DM me if you have any questions. If you have something you want me, if you have a question that you want answered, send me a DM. There's also on my website, TammyMarieCoaching.com. You can go into the podcast, and there's actually a form there. I say form, it's like one question. You put in your question there, and you'll get a response, whether it is like direct response to you, or maybe if it's one that I know that a lot of people have, I'll answer it on the podcast. But it would help me to help you to know what you're wanting to hear about. All right, friend. Well, choose joy until joy chooses you, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now.